you guys, it's all about being real on social media, right? So I'm super tired, and I know I look super tired, so I'm just flipping the camera. We are going to make ice cream, and this is actually a plain custard base, cream custard. Doesn't have any other flavorings in there, and it's the Ample Hills basic recipe. I let it sit for a few hours, actually overnight in the fridge, and we're just gonna see how it turns out. If it turns out good, we are going to make one together, a second one, and I might steep like pretzels or Fruity Pebbles in the second version, and I'll include the recipe for the plain custard for you, so you can make it yourselves at home if it turns out good, and then you can just decide if you are going to do a steep kind of version like we're going to do together, or if it's gonna be just the plain one, this one. Alright, fingers crossed it turns out well, and then we'll just make ice cream together. But before we do so, here is a little rough start of me showing you the ice cream that I made the night before, so you kind of see where this recipe is going to, just in the sense of the consistency of the base and everything. This is a triple cookie dough version. It is chocolate chip cookie dough, chocolate chip cookie dough, and Nutella cookie dough with Nutella swirls and just a sweet cream base. And for some reason here in the US it just doesn't turn out the same as it does in Germany for me. I think that's due to the different fat contents and just, yeah, consistencies of the dairy products, as well as the different ice cream machine I'm using, because here I'm using one that you have to freeze overnight, the bowl, and in Germany I have a compressor machine, which means you just click the button and it starts. So it's a little more on the airy side here, not quite as dense as a Haagen-Dazs or a Ben & Jerry's, so I'm still working on improvements. If you have any tips, please let me know. I've already been thinking about like changing the butterfat content, but I don't know what it is. So we are starting with the milk here. It's just basic whole milk. You will find the recipe in the description box down below. And what I did here is I steeped the pretzels in there. I just like crushed them, kind of, not really, just broke them apart into pieces so they soak up a little more milk and or give flavor to the milk as well. Later I also pureed it a little bit and strained it through a mesh strainer to just incorporate more pretzel taste into the milk. But I'm just gonna let that sit for 2 or 3 hours in the fridge now, and then after that we'll start with the base. So that's what I just said. I pureed it a little bit just to get, so that there's more flavor, more pretzel flavor in the base. And now we're starting with the custard base. I have an egg yolk here, which I have separate, and while that is set aside, I'm preparing the rest of the base. First, I'm doing that mesh strainer thing I just talked about, and start with the milk cream sugar mix. I actually added the cream later, but it doesn't matter when you do it. You can add the cream now too. I just did it the other way around this time, but it really doesn't matter in my opinion. So yeah, I added sugar, corn syrup, a little bit of milk powder, as you can see here, and just heated it up to 125 degrees, constantly stirring. And when it reaches 125 degrees, oh, I also add a little bit of coarse sea salt. You can also use kosher salt. And when it reaches 125 Fahrenheit, you actually pour a third of the mixture into the egg yolk to temper it so it doesn't clump. And then when that is like a light yellow color, you just pour it back into the rest of the milk base, and that's how you temper it. Then you heat it up, constantly stirring, to 165 Fahrenheit, and then it should be food safe, because you don't want to eat raw egg yolks. And yeah, then I just poured the mixture through a strainer again and let it sit in the fridge for 12 to 24 hours, and then I put it into the ice cream maker. As you can see here, it's a really cheap one, and I had it in there for like 30 minutes, and then I added my mix-ins. You will find the recipe down below. Let me know what you think about it. If you like sweet and salty, I love it, and I'll show you the result in a little bit. Oh, and another tip is to just put the ice cream that's made ready in the container, to put that container into the freezer bowl when you put it back into the freezer, just for some extra coldness, because you don't want too many ice crystals to form in the ice cream. That's why some ice cream is icy when you don't freeze it properly after making it. And that's the end result. It's sweet and salty. I love everything sweet and salty. So I really liked it. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's a tiny bit too airy in my opinion still. So I will definitely work on that, but the flavor is so amazing. And yeah, just let me know if you make it, what you think about it. And if you are a person that likes sweet and salty ice cream, because I definitely am. Have fun with the recipe, guys. Bye bye.